Okay, so I began writing my speech at the beginning of August with the hopes of it being the best Maid of Honor speech ever, but then I realized I'm not exactly sure what you're supposed to say in these things, so I was like, well, I finished it last night. So, just go with it. So some of you may know Morgan and Caleb's story. They shared a little bit of it earlier today, and then it's on their website, but there's a few more interesting parts that they failed to leave out that I personally think are the better portions of their story. So I thought I would share some of those with you guys today. Morgan started going to Troy Grace Baptist January 2011, and they officially met at Tim Hortons in March. A relative of ours had attended their church for several years and had come into work. I think she even brought a picture of Caleb and was just like, you should come check out our church because we have a really handsome worship intern that I just think that you two would hit it off great. And so that automatically for Morgan was like, somebody's trying to fix me up, absolutely not interested. And so, but despite that, she visited the church anyway because at the time she was looking for a new church. And so she went, she sat in the back so that he wasn't a distraction at all because she told Mom, she's like, yeah, I gotta sit in the back because he might possibly be a distraction for me during worship. So then after a while, then she told me about him, and then we Facebook stalked him as any good sisters would do together. And I remember we were so frustrated because you couldn't hardly see any of his pictures or anything, and she's like, he really is good looking, and I'm like, sure, show me some more pictures and maybe I'll believe you. But so then they became, after they officially met at Tim Hortons, they became Facebook friends, but he sent her a friend request, and she didn't accept it until she could repost a video of her singing a song called King of Anything. And so she reposted it, so it was the first thing he would see on her wall after he accepted. That way, he would know she could sing. It worked out, I guess. So, I don't know, I think he's probably pretty appreciative of that, because then he knew she could sing, and then he needed to send her a message concerning, helping with worship on occasion if the regular lady couldn't be there. So it worked out, and then it led to other things and super long messages, of course. So that was at the end of March, I think. And then so Palm Sunday was the first time we went and actually saw him in real life because she was filling in for the lead female vocalist. And so we went, and I remember the song she was leading out on, he kept looking over, he's playing his guitar. I'm like, Mom, watch it. There is something there, and I called it. I'm just saying. And Mom's like, no, he had to watch it. He's just making sure she could do it all right. And I'm like, no, Mom, he was watching her. Just you watch. So it was a few weeks later that I ended up going to Sunday school with her because, of course, he taught the Sunday school class. So then she ended up going to that Sunday school class. I think there's another one she could have gone to, but she chose that one for some reason. So she went to that, and a few weeks later, I ended up going with her because I was like, well, since you're interested, I probably need to go check this guy out for you. We'll see what he's made of, and if he passes inspection. So at that point, I was like, yeah, he's a good guy. I think I can see this going places. So hang on. Oh, okay, so a little while later, he invited me, Morgan, two other friends of ours, and then a couple friends of his to go roller skating. So it was on a Thursday night, which Morgan never went anyplace on a work night. It was over an hour away, and she absolutely hated roller skating. That's the last thing she would want to do. So she's like, oh, we're going, and it didn't start till 6, and I knew we'd get home late, and I'm like, she must really like him, and she's actually gonna go roller skating on a work night far away. And then she actually roller skated, and then she roller skated and did a race and held its hand, which I was like, oh, I see, this is gonna get interesting. So we're still making predictions. It's yeah, watch it, it's coming. So eventually he asked her out, and so soon, later into June it was, I remember one Sunday after church, Morgan, Caleb, Lauren, and we all went to the Strawberry Festival, and so Lauren and I somehow got separated from Morgan and Caleb, and so I called Morgan because I was like, oh no, I was afraid, at some point she was real interested in him, and other points she wasn't. So I was like, if she feels awkward and doesn't like want us to have lost her, then I better call her and find out where she was. So I called her to find out if she wanted us to like meet back up with her. And she's like, oh no, we're fine. And I'm like, you don't want to meet up and walk around with us anymore? She's like, no, I'm good, no, it's okay. We're fine. And I'm like, all right, just let us know when you want to walk around with us again. So apparently she liked him because she was good with walking around with him. So, last year on the 4th of July was actually really funny too, because this is one point where she didn't really like him. Well, she liked him, but I don't know. She just was so, I'm not sure. But anyway, so her and bridesmaids Lenny was there for the weekend, and I remember it was like on the 4th of July, me, Mom, Dad were out in the pool with Caleb, and Morgan and Lenny were like taking a nap on the float. Morgan was done talking to Caleb for the day, like she'd had enough of him. And so it was like really awkward because we had to like entertain him in the pool, and I'm like, this is just so weird. She's giving him the cold shoulder, but he's still here, and so like, and then like later that night, Lenny's like telling Morgan all the reasons that he is the wrong guy for her, and I had already decided he was the right guy for her, so I told her to shut up and go home pretty much. I'm just like, Lenny, I'm done with you, go home. So that's what she did, and she came back and obviously now likes him, but, and it all turned out good, so, you know. But their relationship has definitely had many ups and downs, but through God's grace, they've both grown and changed to look more like Christ, and have allowed him to mold their relationship and be the ultimate leader, which has been really cool and encouraging to watch and see. Cal, I always said that the guy that caught Morgan would have to be as persistent and as stubborn as she was, and he's probably going to have to ask more than one time, which kind of ended up being true. It was like 3 times or something like that, so, you know. And I always prayed for an older brother, Cal, but I had no idea it was going to take so many years, but you were definitely worth the wait. So, and Morgan, you have been my secret keeper, my partner in late night laughter, a source to bounce creative ideas off of, my shopping companion, my go-to for emergency outfits and makeup when I had nothing to wear, my role model. You're the person that could get under my skin the fastest, my protector, the wise one when I needed advice, and my very messy roommate for the past 20 years. I don't think the bond between sisters can be fully explained, but you're my best friend, and I'm super excited to watch and learn from you as we begin this journey as a wife. So congratulations, I love you both. Now go forth and multiply.